But is that going to change with the Pittsburgh Steelers? I don't know. We'll talk about that in just a bit. But before we do, the 2020 Fantasy Football Almanac and Draft Guide, click the link below. Free updates throughout the offseason. We're the most up-to-date publication on Amazon, period. We are the best in terms of giving updates. We give you the full updates. You get freebies along the way. It's all opt-in too. It's so cool. Sleepers, better sleeper selections of vetted history. You can look at the history of everything too. We publish all that stuff because we believe in what we do. Check it out in the link below. Pittsburgh Steelers, Brad. Look, man, you know what the deal was. This team went, what were they, 8-8, 9-7 last year? I'll pull up the win total. I should have had that in front of me. But this team last year was tough. And if the playoffs were expanded that last year and there were a seventh team, Pittsburgh would have made the playoffs last year without Ben Roethlisberger. Okay? This team was winning games without being able to move the ball. So they have Roethlisberger back. Tomlin, man, he underrated as a head coach, right?
He is. He gets overshadowed, I think. I'm really not sure why. And
you know what maybe... to me what it is he's a player's guy, a player's coach. He's almost like a Ron Rivera in that way, but a little bit more intense. And I like Tomlin a lot. And hats off to Pittsburgh because everybody, you know, every 1 or 2 years people come out and say fire Tomlin. Which doesn't make any sense. Like when the Ravens crowd was talking about firing Harbaugh, it's like, are you kidding? Who are you going to replace him with? Right?
Yeah,
and then Lamar Jackson comes in, nobody's talking about that, right? But Tomlin, like, you know what happens is whenever there's any criticism, watch this, in the press conferences, he takes all the blame for himself.
And, yeah, he does.
And he takes everything on his shoulders, which the players love. But what that does is it makes it really easy for people to criticize him because he doesn't like bark back at criticism. He doesn't defend himself. And he takes all of the accountability in the organization, which frees his players up to play looser, by the way. And it works. Yeah, and he's so good, so consistently good. Brad, I saw a some kind of poll talking about Tomlin here about like the best coaches in the league, the head coaching rankings going into the 2020 season. I think Belichick and Andy Reid, I think were 1 and 2. I think Andy Reid was 1 and Belichick was 2 or something like that. Then you get in to I think who's the guy? Peyton from New Orleans was in the top 3. And then I think 4 and 5 were in order Shanahan and Sean McVay. And then Tomlin was behind him. And I was like, do I put McVay after what we saw last year ahead of Tomlin and what we saw last year and what he did with the Steelers with those weapons and what we saw McVay do with the Rams and those weapons? I just don't think Tomlin gets his due. I mean, he's a really good head coach and a really good...
Yeah, he doesn't get his due. He doesn't. And I'm not sure why. Maybe it's because we all think Big Ben is so good. At least I do. I don't know. That must be the consensus, right? So it detracts from his coaching ability. I don't know.
Yeah, man. Like this... Dude, so Roethlisberger actually went 0-2 last year. But, you know, they opened with the Patriots. And I think that they lost, to the Seahawks or something like that. So, I mean, not 2 tough games to open the year. After those 0-2, Tomlin went 8-6 with that organization with Mason Rudolph and Devlin Hodges at quarterback. They weren't scoring any points. That defense and the sacks and the turnovers they generate. If you had a quarterback like Roethlisberger play out that year, I mean, they could have easily gone 12-4, 13-3 with the back part of that schedule. I think this is the most underrated storyline coming into 2020. For some reason, people are always sleeping on the Steelers and that defense and what that defense can do. And as we saw with the Ravens last year, when you have a defense that can keep you in every game and an offense that, like, would it shock you, Brad, if Roethlisberger throws for more than 30 touchdowns?
No, not at all. I think the guy's phenomenal. Let me just say this, though. I remember waiting tables in college talking to a group of Pittsburgh fans, and Big Ben was amazing. And I was in college a long time ago.
I know.
And it's how long has this guy been in the league? It's almost weird to think about, man.
He's 37 years old, which is about our age. He's going to be league age 38 this year, which, again, is pretty much right at my age. But talking about, Brad, about touchdowns, and we're not talking AFC South, but look, Jameis Winston threw for like 30 touchdowns, threw for 30 interceptions last year. Tom Brady can throw for 30 touchdowns and like 5 interceptions, and that Tampa Bay Buccaneers team is going to be so good. You look at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Huh?
I can't wait for that.
I know, me neither.
Oh my God, I can't wait for that.
Pittsburgh Steelers quarterbacks last year, Brad, as a group, as a unit, because they had 3 different quarterbacks play, prominent time last year. 18 touchdowns, 19 interceptions. That's not going to happen this year. They're going to throw for over 30 touchdowns. That's going to make James Conner better. The defense is already stacked. I like this team, dude. They didn't lose a ton. And just getting Roethlisberger back and his efficiency as a passer, even if he's not the Roethlisberger of 10, 15 years ago, he's better than Mason freaking Rudolph and Devlin Hodges. So this team, to me, is absolutely a playoff team. I think that they're a threat to Baltimore to win the division, depending on Roethlisberger's health, but he should be back healthy. He's already, kind of full bill of health, so we'll see. He's got to kick the rust off in camp. But let me hit you with the over-under here, Brad. For the Pittsburgh Steelers in the 2020 season, BetOnline has them at 9.5 wins, over or under.
Over. Pittsburgh Steelers over. Absolutely. I think they get back into the dance.
I am with you. I think they're an 11-5 team. We said earlier that I think Baltimore is an 11-5 team. I think that these two teams are going to split in the regular season. I think that goodness, we could get a playoff matchup with these two teams. Would just be a lot of fun. I think they're over. I think that, again, all this hinges on Roethlisberger, so I don't put my money on Roethlisberger staying healthy for a whole year. But if he's healthy, dude, I don't see anything worse than 10-6 for this team. Mm-hmm. And really, I think if he's healthy for the full 16, I think they're a 12-4 team. 11-5.
Yeah, and I know we got a lot of new, what's the term, young guns, right? Mm-hmm. I know there's Patrick Mahomes, and I know there's Lamar Jackson, but, Big Ben, don't sleep on him, man. The guy's been doing it for a long, long time for a reason.
Yeah, man, and this defense, again, fantasy football, everything, people sleep on the Steelers' defense. They get to the quarterback, they keep people out of the end zone, and they force turnovers consistently year after year. And for this team to go 8-8 last year without Roethlisberger, come on, man. You're talking about a 2-game improvement with Roethlisberger with respect to
and without Antonio Brown, and they lost somebody else, didn't they?
Le'Veon Bell.
Running back, right? Le'Veon Bell, yeah, right.
So this is, to me, I love the over here. I love the value. It's tough to win 10 games in the league, and like I said, I don't love betting over/under with my money on the over too often, just because I don't like to tie my money up. I like to bet week to week because I'm better that way. But I like this, man. I like this value. So there you go. That's an episode, man. Fun episode. And once again, everybody, Fantasy Football Almanac and Draft Guide. Click the link below. You'll see why everybody rates the book at a five-star level. I mean, people buy the book once and they're hooked for the rest of their life because it's awesome. So, Brad, man, thanks for the time as always. Everybody out there, go out, make some bets, get paid.